The March for Our Lives, porn star White House affairs, and a call to repeal the Second Amendment, coming up on Today with 2 Cents. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Today with 2 Cents on the Liberty Network. There was no show last week, but there has been no shortage of nonsense occupying the airwaves. The mainstream media hasn't stopped talking about the March for Our Lives, assuring us that teenagers are going to bring us into a new age of safety and gun control, since most adults are just too stupid to deal with it. You know what's funny in all this? For all the young people speaking out about how not enough is being done to make it more difficult for law-abiding citizens to purchase and carry guns for their own protection, almost no one is talking about the fact that the Broward County Sheriff's Department failed to stop this shooting, both before and during the shooting. Lucky for students in Maryland, a school shooting was recently stopped because a good guy with a gun confronted the shooter within seconds of starting his attack. But the mainstream media will have none of that. If you don't support stricter gun control, you're evil. In fact, some would go so far to say that men with guns should come and take away your guns.
I say the whole world must learn of our peaceful ways. By force.
While all this is going on, another figure that keeps popping up in the news is porn star Stormy Daniels, whose sexual exploits with President Trump could put his presidency on the rocks. Or so say the folks at Vox.
A guy walked up on me and said to me, "Leave Trump alone, forget the story."
She also claims that she and her child were later threatened to keep silent, and that she was essentially paid hush money to sign a non-disclosure agreement. The thing is, the lawsuits brought by either Daniels or Zervos could be incredibly damning for Trump's presidency, even if they ultimately lose their cases.
Look, President Trump is no saint. He's been married 3 times and has cheated on all 3 of his wives. However, everyone already knew this before the election, and yet he was still elected. God knows back in the 1990s, the liberal media didn't seem to care so much about President Clinton's extramarital affairs and sexual assault allegations. The double standard is appalling. But nonetheless, there's only one reason this story remains in the news. People love to hear about celebrity sexual exploits. It may be distasteful, but it sells. If it does turn out that Stormy Daniels was in fact threatened by Trump, we'll see what comes of it. But my guess is the media will continue to be pornified, as they've been saying.
This is stupid. I want to talk about vaginas!
Getting back to the issues surrounding the March for Our Lives, many leftists assure us that they don't want to take away guns from law-abiding citizens. They just want common sense gun control measures. Yet they always fail to explain how the measures they propose will do anything but keep guns out of the hands of law-abiding citizens. Well, finally someone's being honest. Former Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens has written an op-ed stating that the Second Amendment should be repealed.
We're back. You're watching CNN. I'm Brooke Baldwin. A stunning call to repeal the Second Amendment is perhaps the most radical proposition in the gun debate. So to hear it from a retired Supreme Court Justice is simply quite stunning. In an opinion piece penned for the New York Times, John Paul Stevens writes that a constitutional amendment to, quote, get rid of the Second Amendment, quoting him, would do more to weaken the NRA's ability to stymie legislative debate and block constructive gun control legislation than any other available option. So with me now.
Repeal the Second Amendment. Take away the fundamental right to defend yourself, especially from an otherwise tyrannical government. Well, at least someone is being honest about what the left wants to do. Personally, I say, if you want my guns, come and get them.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Amongst the students involved in the March for Our Lives, student David Hogg is making his mark. He's been featured by just about every network out there, and gave some fiery speeches about the evils of the NRA and the Second Amendment supporters during the march. This week, talk show host Laura Ingraham pointed out that Hogg had made a comment regarding his non-acceptance at a number of universities, including UCLA, and she poked fun at the comment, since Hogg in some ways seemed to be whining about the fact that he wasn't accepted, but he'll still be making a difference anyways. David Hogg proceeded to call for an all-out boycott of Laura Ingraham by her advertisers, and many advertisers have actually done so.
Hogg joins us now live. David, great to see you as always.
Nice to see you too.
So listen, at our latest count, there's been 7 advertisers that have pulled out of Laura Ingraham's show after one tweet from you. I mean, it seems like you have a lot of power at the moment, and I'm just wondering how you feel about all this.
I think it's great that corporate America is standing with me and the rest of my friends, because when you come against any one of us, whether it be me or anybody else, you're coming against all of us. And I think it's important that we stand together as both corporate and civic America to take action against these people and show them that they cannot push us around, especially when all we're trying to do here is save lives. And when people try to distract, like Laura's trying to do right now, from what the real issue here is, which is gun violence in America, it's not only sad, it's just wrong.
I find it interesting that some media hosts have tried to console Mr. Hogg. How on earth could schools have rejected his application? He's making such a difference. I mean, it's not like he applied to these schools before the shooting occurred and he became an overnight media phenomenon. Who would have thought? Get real. If David Hogg hadn't been given this platform as a result of the tragedy in Parkland, these same newscasters would have been saying that a white male like him doesn't deserve to go to college. But anyways, Laura Ingraham has apologized for her comment. I don't really think she should have had to. David Hogg is so easily butthurt that he couldn't stand a tweet insinuating that he whined about not getting into college. But he has also tweeted out that he does not accept her apology. And he added in this tweet, "Love thy neighbor. Don't be mudslinging at children." Wait a second, Mr. Hogg. Are you a child? Or a supreme intelligence who ought to be leading our country? You can't be both. Besides, can you honestly look in the mirror and say you haven't done any mudslinging of your own?
They're pathetic that want to keep killing our children. They could have blood from children spattered all over their faces and they wouldn't take action, because they'll still see those dollar signs.
Do you guys ever think, like, why the f are we the ones who are doing this?
Well, at this point, it's like when your old-ass parents, like, I don't know how to send an iMessage, and you're just like, give me the phone, and you take it and you're like, okay, let me handle it, and you get it done in 1 second. Sadly, that's what we have to do with our government, because our parents don't know how to use democracy, so we have to. It just makes me think what sick are out there that want to continue to sell more guns, murder more children, and honestly just get reelected. What type of person are you when you want to see more money than children's lives? What type of person does that?
You guys seem to have such mastery of the internet in a way that I feel like, I mean, literally any politician pretty much can't even approach it.
And that's the great thing about it, because those aren't going to get reelected.
I think you get my point. Moving on, it's that time of the show. Time to reveal the weekly hottie. Drum roll, please. This week's weekly hottie is YouTuber and model Christina Khalil. The former track and field athlete released a lingerie haul on her channel this week. Here's a clip. Remember, everyone, gun control has preceded the rise of every major tyrant and human rights abuser in history. If you are at all concerned about your future, hang on to your guns and resist the passionate but hollow rhetoric of the gun control crowd. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, both on the Liberty Network and on my channel, My 2 Cents. And as always, that's my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth.